There's a sound that doesn't belong to sport bikes. It doesn't belong to tours. It doesn't belong to naked street fighters either. It's lower than all of that. Wider, meaner, like a muscle car engine crammed into something that somehow has only two wheels. You hear it once, and you never forget what made it. That sound went quiet in 2020, and the motorcycle world has been a little less dangerous ever since. But here's the thing about legends. They don't retire. They just wait for the right moment to come back. Yamaha has just launched the 2026 VMAX 1700, and if you thought the original was an animal, you have no idea what's about to hit you. Let's start with what made the VMAX untouchable in the first place. Back in 2009, when Yamaha relaunched this machine after a 6-year absence, they didn't just build a motorcycle, they built a statement. A 1,679cc liquid-cooled V4 engine, 197 horsepower, 123 pound-feet of torque. At a time when the fastest cruisers on the market were putting out 80, maybe 90 horsepower, the VMAX was running a quarter mile in 10.86 seconds. That's not a cruiser number, that's a race bike number. That's pull your helmet off after the run and just stare at the sky kind of number. Now, for 2026, Yamaha didn't touch what worked, but they perfected what didn't. The engine stays true to its DNA, a 1,679cc 65-degree V4 DOHC 4 valves per cylinder, liquid-cooled, with Yamaha's signature variable intake system. Call it VIS or call it what it really is, the mechanism that makes this thing feel like two different motorcycles depending on how deep you twist that throttle. Below 6,000 RPM, smooth, grunty, boulevard-eating torque. Above 6,500, the secondary intake butterflies open and it's like someone lit the afterburners. The surge is instant, relentless, and a little terrifying, which is exactly how it should be. But here's where 2026 changes the game. Yamaha has bumped peak output. The new VMAX 1700 is rated at 210 horsepower. That's not marketing rounding, that's a genuine 13 horsepower jump over the last production model, achieved through revised intake porting, a higher flow fuel injection mapping, and a new exhaust header design that reduces back pressure without sacrificing that deep, chest-thumping exhaust note. The torque figure rises to 128 pound-feet, and it still hits hardest right around 6,500 RPM, right where you want it most when you need to end a highway debate instantly. The transmission is a 6-speed, shaft drive, because if you're riding a motorcycle with 210 horsepower, the last thing you want worrying about is chain maintenance. Now let's talk about what the VMAX looks like, because this thing doesn't just ride like a threat, it looks like one. The visual design picks up where the 2020 model left off, but Yamaha's design team went harder with the muscle car proportions. The fuel tank, or what looks like a fuel tank, is that wide, sculpted centerpiece that dominates the profile. In reality, as VMAX fans already know, the actual fuel is stored under the seat. That wide central mass, it's a cover housing the intake airbox, and it's the visual anchor of the entire design, wider than before, more aggressively creased. Available in 3 colorways at launch: matte raven black, carbon midnight gray, and a limited-run titanium white with contrasting matte silver hardware. The chassis is an aluminum diamond type, the same philosophy as before but with revised geometry. Rake is tightened slightly to 28 degrees, reducing the laid-back cruiser feel just enough to make the front end more responsive without turning it into a sport bike. Wheelbase sits at 1,700 millimeters. Seat height is 775 millimeters. That's about 30.5 inches, accessible for most riders. And the weight? Yes, it's heavy. 310 kilograms wet. That's 683 pounds. You're not going to flick this thing around mountain switchbacks. But here's the thing. When you're sitting at a stoplight next to a supercar and you both go green at the same time, the VMAX driver doesn't feel that weight at all. Neither does the guy watching from the curb. Suspension on the 2026 gets a serious upgrade. Up front, fully adjustable 52mm inverted KYB forks, preload, compression, and rebound all tunable. Out back, a fully adjustable monoshock setup replacing the twin shock arrangement of earlier models. This gives the 2026 a noticeably more planted feel mid-corner, which matters when you're carrying this kind of power into a sweeping bend at speed. Brakes. radial mount 4-piston Brembo calipers up front, clamping on dual 320mm discs, a single 298mm rear disc. Cornering ABS is now standard across all trims, something the original generation sorely needed. Traction control with 3 modes: Sport, Road, and Rain. And a quick shifter is now included as standard, because banging gears without touching the clutch on a 210 horsepower V4 is the kind of technology that makes every ride feel like a performance. The instrument cluster moves fully digital for 2026, a 5-inch TFT display with Yamaha's latest communication control unit, Bluetooth connectivity, turn-by-turn navigation compatibility, and a dedicated VMAX performance mode display that shows live power output and torque curves in real time. Because when you're making numbers like that, you deserve to watch them happen. What's the price? In the US market, the 2026 VMAX 1700 opens at $21,999. Top spec in the titanium white limited run, $23,499. Is that expensive? For what you're getting, an American spec muscle cruiser with a European-grade suspension package, Brembo brakes, 210 horsepower, and a nameplate that defined an entire category of motorcycles? No, it's not expensive. It's valued. Now, here's what I have to tell you before we close this out, because you deserve the full picture. Everything you just heard, the specs, the price, the new horsepower figure, the Brembo brakes, the TFT display, the 2026 launch, this is a concept, a reimagining of what the VMAX 1700 would look like if Yamaha brought it back today. As of now, Yamaha has not announced a 2026 VMAX. The last production VMAX 1700 rolled off the line in 2020, discontinued after 35 years due to emissions regulations and a shifting market. But everything built into this concept, every spec, every number, every upgrade, is grounded in what the real VMAX was and what the technology available today could realistically make it. This isn't fantasy. This is a blueprint, and the VMAX community has been loud enough, long enough, that maybe, just maybe, Yamaha is listening. Would you buy this bike if it existed? Tell me in the comments. And if this kind of deep dive concept content is your thing, there's another video right there on your screen. Stick around, you're going to want to see it.